Hi, my name is Eliza Cruz. I'm a current senior at UTSA. I'm majoring in communications. I currently don't have a minor. After graduation, I plan to get an alternative teaching certification. The reason I didn't take the traditional route of getting an early childhood education degree is because when I initially started college, I wanted to be a journalist. But through over the years and through job experience, I really grew a passion for teaching. So that's why I'm taking that route instead. I think to my students, I'm a hero every day to them. They're only 4, so when I do simple things like tying their shoes or helping them open their milk or coming up with a silly dancing song, they think I'm like the greatest superhero ever. But a time that I felt like I was a real superhero was when a coworker was struggling with this child. He was having a really hard time wanting to come into the classroom. Finally, when he did come in, he was kicking and screaming. He was just having a really hard morning. He was having a complete meltdown. And my coworker was really struggling to get him to calm down, to get him to communicate with her what his problem was. I was working with our other 19 students and trying to keep them occupied so they didn't remember that their mommies and daddies weren't there anymore, and then they would all have meltdowns. So as I was dancing with them, I could still see her that she was still not really getting anywhere with that child. So I finally, left the kids busy and occupied them with something, and I walked over to my coworker and I, kind of tapped her on the shoulder and said, "Hey, like, let's switch out. You've been here for a while. Maybe I can get somewhere with him." And working with 4-year-olds, I notice a lot about them. I notice when they have a new backpack or when they have new shoes or if they get a haircut. And they always point it out to us like, oh, "Did you see my new backpack?" Or "Did you see my new shoes?" Or, they sometimes overindulge and tell us things that their moms and dads probably don't want us to know. So I noticed that when this child had came in, his mom had gotten him a new backpack. He normally had some Dallas Cowboys backpack, and today when he had came in, he had a Ninja Turtles backpack. So as I walked over, I grabbed the backpack, and I kind of was like, "Wow, this is a really cool backpack." And he kind of stopped crying and looked at me for a minute, and I was like, "Whoa." And I started naming the Ninja Turtles, and because being an assistant teacher for 4-year-olds, I kind of have to be up to date with all the things that they like. And so I noticed that as I started naming the Ninja Turtles, his tears stopped and his anger started to calm down. His breathing was more calm. He wasn't so upset anymore. So I asked him who his favorite Ninja Turtle was, and he told me Donatello. And I told him, "Oh, my favorite is Michelangelo." And I opened his backpack and I noticed that he also had a matching blanket. And I took out this blanket and I was like, "Wow, this blanket is really soft and warm." And he kind of was like stunned, but he was no longer calm. He got upset again. And I said, "Oh, it seems like that's the problem. Do you not like this blanket or this backpack?" He said, "No, I like the backpack, but I don't like the blanket." Apparently, his mom bought a new blanket and a new backpack, but he wanted his old blanket, which was a blanket I guess he had from when he was born, which was way too small for him and didn't cover him at nap time. So I told him, "Oh, it seems like your mommy thought you needed a new blanket because now you're a big boy." He said, "Well, yeah, but what if it doesn't keep me warm?" And I let him know, mommies and daddies know what's best for you, and they wouldn't send you with a blanket that wouldn't keep you warm and cozy. And he just kind of looked at me and I said, I covered myself in it just to show him, like, "Oh, this is a really soft blanket." And he calmed down and he said, "Can you cover me with it?" So I covered him with it, and he's like, "Ooh, it does keep me warm and cozy." And within a few minutes, he was completely calm. I had helped him clean up the mess he made, and I went over with him to join the rest of the students and the other teacher on the carpet, and she kind of just looked at me like exhausted but relieved that he had finally calmed down. And she just said, "Thank you." And throughout the day, she's like, "Thank you so much for handling that problem." And what I really learned through that experience was that, yeah, sometimes we don't want to deal with those problems, but I mean, if you approach it with an open mind, that you never know what you can do. And I think that experience really taught me how much I truly enjoy working with young children and that's why I want to pursue a teaching career. So my top 3 goals for this class are to gain a more in-depth understanding of the importance of communication, whether it's verbal or nonverbal. I want to gain a new set of skills to help me in my career, because teaching does require a lot of communication, not only with my students, but their families, with administration, with any other people that might be coming into my classroom and that might be there to help my students. And I just want to have a better appreciation for online classes. I know that some people take them because they think they're easier, but I feel like online classes require you to be more organized and more disciplined in your readings and your assignments. So I really hope to gain that from this class.